We start with a question. Where in the world do you feel most safe? In the place you come to find a bit more hope. Maybe every week, it could be on a Saturday morning or a Friday night or a Sunday morning. The place you feel most at peace. For many of us, it's right here, or the equivalent to right here where you sit every week or once a month, or for some Jews, 3 times a year, though I'm not complaining. Truth be told, sitting in our sanctuary with fellow congregants feels like family in a place that often feels like home. For 11 members of the Tree of Life congregation in Squirrel Hill in Pittsburgh, to be gunned down during Shabbat morning worship is not only an unimaginable violation of this space we hold most sacred, it is the ultimate blasphemy of God's creation. Murdered the very moment they were proclaiming the precious morning light. It is simply unthinkable, unbelievable. And yet, because it happened, because lives were lost and families torn apart and worlds shattered, we carry a sacred responsibility. It is our task to redeem their deaths and in so doing, to sanctify their memories. How? By responding to this horrific act of hate with the one weapon we possess, which is mightier, greater, even more powerful, filling our world every day with love. Olam Chesed Yibaneh, Psalm 89 proclaims, when hate thrives on social media and racism spurs on the most radical elements, we will build a world of love. When bigotry divides our world by colors and creeds, deciding who's in and who's out, we will build a world of love. When prejudice perverts our nation's vision, putting up walls to keep out the invaders, we will build a world of love. Redeeming, respectful, renewing, reverential, unconditional, unabating, undiscriminating, untiring love.
I'm going to sing these words that are up on the screen for you, and I would love for each and every one of us to sing together. It goes like this. Olam chesed yibaneh, taiderai, rai, 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 rai. Olam chesed yibaneh. Olam chesed yibaneh, taiderai, rai, 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 rai. Olam chesed yibaneh, taiderai, rai, 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 rai. Olam chesed yibaneh, taiderai, rai, 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 rai. Olam chesed, let's try the whole thing. Olam chesed yibaneh, taiderai, rai, 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 rai. Olam chesed yibaneh, taiderai, rai, 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 rai. Olam chesed yibaneh, taiderai, rai, 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 rai. Olam chesed yibaneh, taiderai, rai, 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 rai. and this is what it means. I will build this world from love. Tie-da-dye, dye-dye, da-da-dye-dye. And you must build this world from love. Tie-da-dye, dye-dye, da-da-dye-dye. And if we build this world from love, tie-da-dye, dye-dye, da-da-dye-dye, then God will build this world from love. Tie-da-dye, dye-dye, yai-da-dye-dye.
We call on Monsignor Tom Kelly from St. Augustine's for some words of comfort.
Permit me a short story. It's about a childless couple who had raised their orphaned nephew named David. He was now leaving them for college, and they were at a railway station. David looked at his aunt and uncle. She, with hands cupped and hard from selling fruit and vegetables outdoors in all kinds of weather, face ruddy, round, invariably smiling, the heavy body more accustomed to half a dozen sweaters than at one time than a single coat. He with a slight, wiry body, strong and bent from lifting too many fruit and vegetable crates over too many years, the wind-burned skin, the swarthy face, the wry mouth. The childless couple who had taken the orphan David into their home, rearing him since the age of 7, yet refusing to be called Mama or Papa for fear he would forget his real parents. David grabbed their rough peddler's hands with his smooth student ones. How can I ever repay you two for what you have done for me? His uncle spoke gently. David, there's a saying, the love of parents goes to their children. The love of these children goes to their children. That's not so, protested David. I'll always be trying to, and his aunt interrupted. David, she said, what your uncle means is that a parent's love isn't to be paid back. It can only be passed on. I stand before you as a nephew, as a son, and I would not be here unless I was loved. And we are together as brother and sister, as niece, as daughter. And that's true for each of us. We would not be here unless we have been loved. We are here together from wherever we come to pass on that love. Love is not soft. Love needs courage. And love needs to be verified in the mitzvah, in the good deed. Sunday, I asked parishioners to sign on in a very brief note that I wrote to Jeff and the Larchmont Temple community. The response I got was thank you. Because inherently, as we need love to live and to grow and to become who the Lord has created us, we need to pass on that love. And so we are here to love. We are here to stand in solidarity and support. And we are here, hopefully fully conscious that love is tender, yes, but strong and tough, and it needs courage. Amen. God bless.
But Monsignor, the Monsignor came by, showed up at my door yesterday, which he doesn't often do. Especially with, tell us what kind of plant this is, Monsignor, again. This is a...
Cactus.
And it's a cactus. It's not, so he showed up at my door with this card. Dear Rabbi Jeffrey Serpent and the Large Pond Temple community, may this plant truly express the solidarity of our religious congregations to stand together for the human rights of all peoples and to stand openly against injustice, prejudice, and evil. Shalom and Pax, and it's signed by all the clergy, and of course, there are about 300 more signatures in this envelope. But this isn't just any plant. Where's this plant from?
It's a 2-year-old cutting from a plant my mother gave me about 30 years ago.
So it was a. First of all, I'm gonna let somebody else take care of it because I 3 weeks, Tom.
It survived me for 30 years,
All
so
right.
you can do it.
But just to know, what's healing about tonight? Healing about tonight is the person next to you. I'm sitting in the first 2 rows with clergy folks, some of whom I've known a long time, some of whom I don't even know because they're new in the community, but they showed up. They're here because they understand how much it means to be together, to not have to say a word, but to just reach out a hand. That's the beginning of healing. Thank you, my friend.
A song of healing for our world and its inhabitants. And as always, I invite you to sing along. We pray for healing of our people. We pray for healing of the land and peace for every race and nation, every child, every woman, every man. Refuat haguf, refuat shelema, el narifana. Oh, please heal us now. Refuat hanefesh, refuat haguf, refuah shelema, heal us now, heal us now, heal us now.
from Reverend Elizabeth Smith Bartlett over at Larchmont Avenue Church, a prayer of hope.
So on Sunday morning, down the street on the other end of Larchmont Avenue, we gathered our children together for our time with children. It's a customary part of our worship before we dismiss them off to Sunday school. And we gathered them up at the front, and I took the mirror that I keep on my office wall, and I took it down, and I said, who will be my helper this morning? And so I had one little boy just furiously raise his hand. And I had him stand in front of me, in front of that mirror, and I said, Henry, what do you see? And he said, well, I see me. And I said, well, tell me about what you see. You know, how would you describe your face? And he talked about his freckles and his nose and his eyes and his skin color and, you know, all of those little details that a 9-year-old boy would think of. And then I said, okay, I need another helper. And we had a little girl come up, and she did the same thing. And so I had the two of them stand side by side, and Henry is very fair-skinned, and Clara is a little bit darker-skinned. And I said, okay, so do you look the same or do you look different? And without missing a beat, they said, we look different. And it occurred to me in those moments that we are not all that different ourselves, that we look at one another, and it's really easy for us to see all those things that separate us, all those things that divide us, all the ways that we look different, and that our work is always to look a little bit deeper and see all of those things that unite us, all of those ways that we look the same. And they were very quickly able to do that, both physically, you know, we all have noses, we all have eyes. But then I said, so think about if this mirror could look on the inside, you know, not your bones, not your organs, but what would that mirror see if it could see on your inside? And they said kindness, love, you know, things like that, sharing. And so that's always our work. That's the work of healing, is to do that intentional work, to see how we're all the same, to see how we're all connected. And if our kids can do it, we can do it too. So I left them with this, and this is part of the tradition that we share with our Jewish brothers and sisters as Christians. And it's that tradition that teaches us on those very, very first pages of Genesis that we are all created in the image of God, that we all reflect God back into the world. And because of that, we are all connected. That's it. It's just that easy and it's just that hard, right? We are all connected because we all reflect the image of God. And so that was the challenge that I gave them, and that is the challenge that I give us tonight, is to do that work of healing by remembering that we are all connected by that image of God that we share, and that we are all needed to reflect that image of God back into the world. That image of God is not complete without each and every one of us. So I leave us with that this evening, and we join our voices together in praying that the source of peace might bring peace.
As Jews, we learn early and often that spiritual life is not individualized practice. We come together. We come together as a community to pray and study. We come together to live and to sanctify our lives. We come together to grieve and mourn and hold each other up. This evening, we mourn the death of 11 humans, beautiful souls who came together on Saturday morning to pray and study and sanctify the seventh day. We mourn the loss of Joyce Feinberg, Richard Gottfried, Rose Mallinger, Jerry Rabinowitz, Cecil Rosenthal, David Rosenthal, Bernice Simon, Sylvan Simon, Daniel Stein, Melvin Wax, and Irving Younger. We mourn these lives taken by the hands of hate. We mourn so many lives lost because of the hate that harbors in the human heart. We mourn how our country has arrived in this place, in this moment where guns and hate and anger determine the tragic fate of too many lives. In preparation for our memorial prayer, we'll now take a moment of silence to remember. How will we remember these lives lost in a way that we will not forget? How will we ensure that their memories lead to blessing and to acts of love? How will we honor their lives and bring much needed light into the world? Please rise so we can remember together.
El male rachamim, shochen bamromim, hametzim menucha nechona, tachat kanfei hashchina, im kirushim utahorim, Kezohar harakia mazhirim Lanishmat yakirenu shehalchu leolamam Bal harachamim yasirem besete knafam leolamim Bitzror hachayim et nishmatam Hadonai hu nachalatam Ve'anuhu b'shalom al mishkavam V'nomar Amen.
Merciful God, God Most High, that there be perfect rest for the souls of these loved ones who have gone into eternity. May they find shelter in your presence among the holy and pure, whose light shines like the radiance of heaven. Compassionate God, hold them close to you forever. May their souls be bound up in the bond of life eternal. May they find a home in you, and may they rest in peace. Together we say, Amen.
Amen.
Please be seated.
A word on the difficulty of the times in which we live. My colleague, Rabbi Alfredo Borodowski from Sulam Yaakov.
Thank you, Jeff. I fear no pain. I have no pain. I have no sadness. What happened is another event of cruelty and massacre. As an African American church, a movie theater, schools, dancing places, this is not a Jewish event. This is something that happened to us as part of the Sikh American society who's living a charade by not calling what's happening by its name: moral decay, lack of empathy, lack of leadership. Nothing to do with any political party, all to do with human nature. If this would have been the only case of a massacre, I would be experiencing pain. But at this point, I am not surprised. And I know that this is not going to be the only time we meet together in an act like this one. Then how can I feel pain? It is important to understand that as we look at the world, we are exceptional, American exceptionalism. But sometimes our exceptionalism has to do with things that the rest of the world cannot understand. I come from Argentina, and I don't know anybody who owns a gun. The question of America is not about the constitutionality of guns. It's not if they are constitutional, they are. The question that we need to address is why so many Americans love guns. That's a question that has to do with psychology. It has to do with culture. It has to do with self-understanding and certainly with religion. Then the question that we don't want to explore is why so many Americans love guns. Now, assault rifles in a society, I tell you, they look at us from the rest of the world and they think that we are insane. And this man killed so many people in such a little amount of time because we endow him with the tool to do it. Then I can't feel pain. I am with the prophets. I am with Isaiah, with Jeremiah, with Amos. I feel moral outrage. As a rabbi, I commit myself to do something, not to pray about it. Because I think we are past that point.
Alfredo is always uplifting and challenging. But his challenge is so from the heart. This man can't help but speak his heart, which is why we love him. And what he's saying to us is, we've got to do something. Well, I just want to let you know, you have done something. You showed up. You understood that you came out to a place of worship. Don't have to be Jewish to be here. You don't even have to believe in God to be here. You have to believe in each other. And that's what you're doing. That's why we're here. Because we understand the beauty and sweetness of the community we share and the country we share. And if we don't preserve that peace, that interconnectedness and harmony, who will? How do we leave this moment then? How do we go from here into a world, you heard it described, that can feel awfully dark? By understanding the secret that this gathering makes real. This community of faith and hope is, to be sure, a great comfort, but even more, our gathering is a call to act. The Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King said it in the midst of his struggle. Almost 60 years later, we are still struggling. Dr. King taught, darkness cannot drive out darkness, only light can do that. Hate cannot drive out hate, only love can do that. Knowing sacred sparks fly whenever we reach out to span the spectrum of difference and connect, really connect with each other. Feeling the warmth of hearts opened and hands extended. Caring because in sharing this world we could do nothing less. We are kindling light. And so, I need a kid. The two Belial kids, come over here. Come over here. I'm going to light a Havdalah candle. I'm going to ask everybody to rise. I'm also going to ask everybody to do what only seems natural in a moment like this. We need to join hands because we can't save the world by ourselves. We can't stop the violence all around us by ourselves. We need light, but it comes from connecting, from reaching out to each other. The Havdalah candle I light, normally kindled and blessed at the end of Shabbat, is a very different kind of candle. It's a braided wick to remind us how we illumine the world out there is up to us. We can illuminate with sparks of joy and love, or we can fan the flame of prejudice that fuels the fires of hate. Our gathering is a call in a country so in need of healing at a time so hoping. Let us kindle the light of love. That's for you guys to hold.
If not now, tell me when. Sing that with me. If not now, tell me when. We may never see this moment. Try that. We may never see this moment or place in time again. If not now, tell me when. Let's sing that all together. Beautiful. If not now, tell me when. If not now, tell me when. We may never see this moment or place in time again. If not now, tell me when. And I see sorrow and trouble in this land. I see sorrow and trouble in this land. Although there will be struggle, we'll make the change we can. If not now, tell me when. And I may never see the promised land. And I may never see the promised land. And yet we'll take the journey and walk it hand in hand. If not now, tell me when. So we'll work it till it's done. Every daughter, every son, every soul that ever longed for something better, something brighter. And it will take a change of heart for this to mend. It will take a change of heart for this to mend. but miracles do happen every shining now and then. If not now, tell me when. If not now, tell me when. If not now, tell me when.
Doesn't matter how dark it is, as long as you're connected. It's growing light. Amen.
Amen.
That was brilliant. Why, sir? Hugging somebody at this moment is always good. Somebody's